All right. Welcome. We'll be getting started here shortly. I'd like to welcome everybody to the live coolant service. Feel free to drop in comments at any point in time, and we'll be looking at those periodically, or me anyways. Alrighty. Alrighty then, welcome folks. We're going to be doing a coolant service on this 2019 F-150. We'll be getting started here in just a moment. Please feel free to drop comments, say hello, let us know when you let us know where you're watching from, so that we can say hello. So I'm just getting a couple things ready here before I start. I think I'm gonna need this screwdriver here. Alrighty then. Hello, Israel Molina. How are you doing this morning? I hope all is well where you're at. Get that screwdriver down there. Nunzio Leone. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hello. Texas. All right. Shout out to Texas. Everything is bigger and better in Texas. Or so I hear. I've never been to Texas. Maybe one day I will. I'm so happy to have all you guys joining this morning. And I hope we have a good time here. It's just a coolant service. We're going to be talking a little bit about it. I'm going to be showing you how to do it. And hopefully we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I will ask, if you haven't done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And drop in a like as well. Okay. I will be looking at the chats periodically. I'm by myself this morning, so feel free to drop in any chat, and I'll look into it and I'll respond. All right, so we're about to get started here. Let's get a closer up Okay. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing a drain and fill in the cooling system. This is a service that should be done depending on what most modern vehicles use, long-lasting coolants. So they're good for our 150, 150,000 miles or 5 years, whichever comes first. The reason we want to do that is because we have heat cycles and normal operation of the vehicle, and it degrades the coolant over time. So the coolant becomes acidic, and you want to get this old coolant out and get fresh one in there to refresh the inhibitor packages in the coolant to prevent coolant failures down the road. So it's a normal system that you wanna take care of. Like I said, depending on what coolant you use, long lasting is the common coolant now. 150,000 miles to about 5 years, whichever one comes first. So this car is from 19. It doesn't have 150,000 miles, but it's already past the 5-year mark. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care. This is my personal vehicle, by the way. Well, I say my personal vehicle is actually my wife's personal vehicle, because she drives it more than I do. All right, so Sue, what's up? And okay. DJ, hello. Alrighty then. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get this drained. So to do that, we're gonna have to reposition ourselves down here, and we gotta find the pack, which is gonna be in this particular model. Let me see here. Let me hold this apparatus in a way that you guys can see. It's gonna be that red knob right there. Okay, it's gonna be right there. You can see it. Let me see if I can get a better. I mean, that's pretty good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna crack that loose until coolant starts draining out. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now, I don't want you guys to get wet, so okay, I'm just gonna use a screwdriver to crack it loose. And there we have some coolant with the catch. Oh boy, it's kind of in a bad spot here. All right, I think you guys can see it draining here. I'm gonna have some there on the floor. I'm gonna go ahead and reposition. Let me wipe my hands real quick first. All right. You can see we're draining it me see if I can get another catch pan over there. This longer one here. There we go. I want to try to. All right, so we're just gonna wait till all that drains out. It is draining. Let me see what we can do to expedite this a little bit more. See if we can open this up a little bit more, maybe. It's pretty open. All right. Any questions or comments so far? If you're just joining us, welcome. We just gotta wait till all this drains out. In the meantime, let's go ahead and check our fluids. Let me level this out here. I did an oil change on this not too long ago. Take a look here. See how all this is looking. It's looking pretty clean. I've been using that new Restore and Protect oil from Valvoline. But it was pretty clean to begin with anyways, because I changed my oil no more than 5,000 miles. That is my maximum allowable mileage for oils. I never let them reach over 5,000. Top this off with windshield washer juice. The draining part is really what takes the longest. Just got to be a little patient with it. Just got to be a little patient with it, that's all. Welcome, folks. If you're just joining us, we are waiting for this to drain completely. Draining the coolant from the radiator. And later on, I'm going to be showing how I fill it with this tool right here. A nifty little tool. I don't know how I've done this so long without it, to be honest with you. It facilitates the filling process by like 1,000,000%. I assure you of that. A 1,000,000%. Any questions, comments, concerns? No? Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and check tire pressures. I'm sure they're about 36. Okay. All right. Y'all let me know in the chats, how often do you like to change your motor oil and do your coolant service? This is the first coolant service for this car. James Montclair, hello. How are you doing? Hope all is well with you and your family. Welcome to the live. gonna hang this over here because I'm gonna need it here shortly. James, I'm glad to hear you're fine. Thank you for joining, by the way. We thank you all for joining, spending the time with me here this morning. I'm sure there's a million other things that you could be doing, but you're spending some time here with me, watching me work, and I appreciate that. Where are you watching from, James, if I may ask? And everybody else for that matter. Drop it in the comments. Where are you watching from? I'm curious. Okay, so I think we're almost done here with the draining part. Like I said, that's the part that requires the most. Mississippi. All right. Shout out to Mississippi. Alright, so this is almost done. I can see that it's barely draining anymore. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of dark. It's still dripping some, but we're almost done. The top off is going to be a lot faster, I promise. Especially with that tool I showed you earlier. Like I said, I don't know how I've done this so long without it. Sorry about that. Okay. No, no, thank you. I'm good. Thank you. You need to go where, Hoodie? Hialeah? Why do you want to go to Hialeah for? Okay. Yeah, I'll be done. I'll be done here shortly. I'm almost done. Go ahead and jack this up so I can get underneath. So this is just a drain and fill because this cooling system is not that bad. And James, yes, that's what we're servicing. We're just doing a drain and fill on the radiator. The cooling system is not that bad. If yours is like super neglected, and when I mean super neglected, I mean really rusty, junk floating all over the place, and you're gonna have to be a little more aggressive. Here's what I'm looking for. You're gonna have to be more aggressive, and you can't just do a drain and fill. You're gonna have to do a flush. And when I say a flush, I mean a flush. Not like those quick lube dealership flush services that they put it on this little fancy looking gizmo and they suck it all up. And no, you're gonna have to like get all that crap out of there. So you're gonna have to remove the thermostat. You're gonna have to flush it with clean water and let it go. It's gonna be easily a 2-3 hour ordeal, easily. Because you want to get as much of that rust and crap out as possible. Because if you just do a drain and fill on that, as soon as you drive it down the road, it's going to get rusty again. And even if you do that, it may still be rusty. It all depends on how neglected the system is. I've seen some really nasty ones. All right, guys, so I'm just going to go down here. I'm not going to bring you along because it's a very bad spot right here. But we're just gonna tighten it and that's it. See? And we're done with that. We are done with that. We're gonna have to mop this up a little bit. Let me get the mop just so I can dry that up. Yeah, I've seen some really nasty cooling systems because people neglect them. Again, it's not something you have to do all the time like you used to back in the day, every couple of years, because you had that conventional green, which if you ask me, I found nothing wrong with that conventional green stuff. Every 30,000 miles or so, you drained it out and topped it off and you were good. I mean, this stuff ain't bad either. This long-lasting stuff ain't bad either, but you know, it's just another thing that gets neglected in cars, just like the transmission services. Nobody wants to do that anymore. And then by the time you want to do it, it's been so long that no technician wants to touch it because they don't want to risk the transmission starting to slip as soon as they do the oil change. And nobody wants to be held liable for that. All right, so here comes the fun part. All right, so this system should be empty. I mean, there's always going to be some leftover in there, so I mean that's normal. You're not going to get every last little bit out, especially in this car, because it's got, let me show you guys. See, it's got high spots in the cooling system. You know, it curves down and then it swings up. See? So you're gonna have some residual coolant there. You may have some here. See how the upper radiator hose swings down and then comes up? Yeah, whatever's in there is in there. It's not coming out unless you take this off. But that's the important part of doing this regularly, so you don't have to worry about all that stuff. You know, you'll be refreshing it and you're good to go for another few years, you know. So this is the moment that I promised y'all. I was gonna show you the top off with this. This is a snap-on tool. Now you don't have to have this snap-on one. This is a very expensive set. Amazon does sell some way cheaper, and they're supposed to work. I don't know, I've never tried them. Okay, this is an adjustable universal set that I bought, so you use the cone that's appropriate for the application. So I'm gonna use this cone right here. It's got to make a good seal in here. Let me show you guys. A good seal in here. See? Boom. So because we're going to be drawing up a vacuum in the cooling system. So it's very crucial that you get a good seal here. If not, forget about it. You're not doing anything. Alrighty then. So let me get the tool. So we're going to screw this on here. Okay, make a seal here, and we're just gonna pop it in here so you guys can see the gauge. Okay, we're gonna close up these valves. Now we're gonna put our hose attachment here. We're gonna put our hose here, draw up a vacuum, make sure it holds, which we should be fine. Now you don't have to have this tool. You could do it the old-fashioned way. Just pour it in there and, you know, warm it up. Let the thermostat open up. But this tends to facilitate the process drastically. So this might get a little loud here. All right. See the vacuum? And as soon as it reaches at least 25 right here, boom, there we go. It'll probably surpass it a little bit. There, that's it. This is not like an AC system that you got to keep going for an hour to do a vacuum here. No, we just, as soon as we get a vacuum, and you're gonna know because your hoses are gonna collapse. Okay. Let me get the light so you guys can see better. You should see all these hoses collapse. See? The big radiator hoses anyways. That's what it's supposed to do. It's flat. And it should be holding vacuum, which it is. Right there. Okay, let me get my coolant. If it doesn't hold vacuum, it could be the tool itself that's not making a good seal, or you have a leak somewhere. Now I know I don't have a leak, so because this system wasn't leaking, so I know we're good. Alrighty then. Let me pour some of this coolant in here. Now I'm using generic auto part, you know, universal coolant. Nothing too fancy. The right answer is you're gonna have to use the right coolant for the application. However, I will say that if you work on multiple cars for a living, you're gonna need a lot of space for all the coolants with the colors of the rainbow. And I am sorry I don't have space for all that. So we're gonna get this nice pretty yellow. I mean, the original coolant is yellow anyway, so as you can see here, just dump it in a bucket. And let her rip. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna purge this hose here. There. I'm just gonna purge it so that it doesn't draw more air than it needs to. All right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and fill her up. There we go. You'll know it's full once it stops sucking up air. You'll see that the hoses will start to regain their shape. Let me stop this real quick so I can add more coolant to the bucket. All right. Now we open her up again. And you'll see that the hoses will start slowly but surely regaining their shape. You see that? Right there. Okay. So we can see that we're almost at zero. Okay. And it's not going any further. So at this rate, I say that it is full. So I'm going to close this for now. I could have removed this without any issues, but I didn't. Even if you open this, it won't lose vacuum. There's a check valve here, I believe. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna break the seal here. Let this drain back to minimize the mess. And that should be done. Now, we're done, but we're not done. Because we gotta make sure that the thermostat opens up and everything flows and we don't have no overheating. But as you can see, look at the level here. So that's probably going to be a little too full. I'll probably end up having to remove a little bit. Not a problem. Let's go fire up the vehicle and start the warming up process. We just want to make sure we don't have no trapped air. That's why you do the vacuum, to minimize all that. So we're gonna turn off the AC and everything. We're just gonna let it warm up, get it to temperature. Make sure I don't see nothing dripping, which I don't. Any questions or comments up to this point from the audience? Yeah. Okay. Then we're gonna dump this old coolant in the containers here. I do not just drain it or anything like that. I do put it in appropriate containers there, and then I'll have it shipped out. So you can see the level is here. It's a little too high. It should be more like down here. Yeah, should be down here. So as it heats up, it will expand. But it's all the way up here, so I'm gonna have to drain it a little bit. Not a problem. If that's the case, you just got to get some out, because what ends up happening is you got a little vent here. Got a little vent here, and it starts leaking outward, as you can see there. That's not an actual problem. That's just it's overfilled. That's all that is. So, but if you can see, it's getting down there. It's gonna make a mess. So I just got to bring that level down. So that's all. So to do that, I'm just gonna get this little It's like a pneumatic brake bleeder thing. You can get one of those turkey baser or whatever you call those things and suck it up. I'm just using this because this is what I got. Alright, there you go. Sorry about the loud noises. That should be pretty good right there. Let me dump this out. And we're gonna dump the old coolant in the appropriate recycling bin. Out with the old, in with the new. There we go. Now we're just waiting for the engine to reach temperature. I'm gonna wipe my hands again. Okay. That seems to be okay. Let me go look at the temperature gauge. And we are still close to cold. Rev it up a little bit. Okay. Now another thing we need to do is not get the inside of my car dirty. But most importantly, we're gonna turn on the blower motor without the AC, and we're gonna put max heat. We're gonna put max heat. We want to make sure we're gonna get heat coming from the vents. Okay, there we go. That's gonna let us know that we have some circulation going in the system. So we rev up. I'm feeling the heat already. That's a good sign. Make sure all the coolant is flowing through the heater core. We can't have no air in the heater core. If you've ever driven a car, you start it up, you go down the road, and it sounds like you have an ocean underneath your dash, like waves, almost waves flowing, crashing. That normally means that you have air in your radiator, in your heater core. So you want to get that air out. That's not fun. So to do that, you just make sure it's flowing as much as possible through that core to push out any air pockets you may have. I think Nissan had a bulletin on that a while back. And when I mean a while back, I mean like 20 years ago. All right, let's take a look, see here. Everything's looking good so far. Okay. So let me know in the comments, have you guys done this before? Has anybody done this before? To their car or somebody else's car? If so, what method did you use? Did you use a fancy tool like this? Or did you do it the old school way? All right, so we're reaching temperature already. So I got heat coming out of the vents. I'm satisfied with that. Obviously, I would test drive afterwards just to make sure, recheck the level, and call it a day. Let me turn this back to the cool. Now we can cap it off, hose down whatever spills we made, and we are done with this. We are finished. Let's see what we got going on. Let's see, never done it before, James. Okay, it's not really a difficult. Ryan says, looks like you're missing the reservoir cap. Well, I already took care of that. Thanks for pointing that out though. But the next step would be just test driving it, make sure everything's good. Double check the level afterwards, because the level does go up and down with temperature. So, and obviously if there's any little air pockets that are expelled afterwards, it'll cause this level to go down. So you always want to verify the level after the fact. But that has been changed. That's going to be good for several more years to come. If nothing, unless something else fails and then I gotta fill it with fresh one again, wouldn't surprise me. Modern cars are always an issue. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera. If you are still with me, I thank you so much for giving me the privilege of your time this morning. I'm sure there's a million other things you probably could be doing other than watching me work, but here we are, and I thank you so much for that. If you haven't already done so, please take a second to like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and hit the notification so you get other events such as this one. And again, thank you so much, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Ciao for now.